Hey y'all, I found a flashlight so I can show you a little bit better what I was talking about on these connecting rods. Right there, right at the very tip, right where that light is shining on that connecting rod. Do you see that little knob right down there? That's on the Magnum style connecting rods. On the LA style connecting rods, that extra bit of metal was not on the connecting rods. They were rounded instead of coming up to that kind of squarish flat peak. And when I was talking about putting shorter pistons on, what I was talking about is in a lot of stroker kits, your pistons, the clearance from the center of your wrist pin to the top of your piston is a lot shorter, and a lot of times they will move where this wrist pin is connected. They will move it up. Some even almost cut in to where this ring is. Okay, and the top is a little bit shorter. And as far as stock pistons go, like I said, this is from a 5.2 Magnum. And let me show you side by side here. This is from the 360. Now, I get these two together, and let me bring you outside where I can put these down. Take you outside for a minute. And yes, I'm gonna get to some other things that are similar or different, however you want to put it, that nobody seems to talk about a whole lot. But I put these two pistons together, and it's not by a whole lot, but this 360 piston is shorter. Let's see if we can see this here. I'm sorry, my head's in the way. But it is shorter than the 318 piston. Now, if you see where it lines up right here to the top of the piston, that, believe it or not, too, is a little bit shorter. Not by a whole lot, but it is a little bit shorter on the 360 piston. So if the 360 piston is smaller than the 318, how come the 360 is a bigger engine? Well, the piston itself is wider. It's a 4-inch bore. It's 4 inches in diameter. Okay, that's one thing. The 318 5.2 liter piston, that is 3.8 something inches. It's just a little bit under 4 inches. So it's a little bit narrower. It's a little bit skinnier. The other thing, the biggest thing, honestly, is the crankshaft. The stroke on the 360 is 3.8 some inches, I do believe. It might be 3.78 inches. I'm not sure. One of them is 3.78. In other words, the 318 stroke is shorter. The piston doesn't go up and down as far. And that is why you need a shorter piston on the 360, because it moves up further and down further on the stroke. So you need a little bit shorter piston. If you was to use the same height, same length piston as the 318, it would hit the top of the head. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of clarify that a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting ready to dig the heads out, and we'll go through the difference between the LA heads and the Magnum heads. And then the other thing I want to discuss too is a few of the other minor differences that everybody mentions when they're talking about the differences between an LA and a Magnum. And one of them is, this here is the cam gear. This is what I was talking about. These are different between the Magnum and the LA. And I'll explain that to you in the video after the heads. After, it'll probably be 2 videos from now. And it does make a big difference. It makes a huge difference. If you put the wrong cam gear in, you will wipe out your engine. And I am doing research now to see, because I have an LA engine, but it's a rollercam, and I do believe that even though it's an LA, it takes the same cam gear as the Magnum, so it's something to be careful of. The other thing is they both have different oil pumps. That's the next thing I have to check to make sure I got the right oil pump for this engine. Magnum oil pump and the LA oil pumps are different part numbers. They're different pumps. So all these minor differences are something you have to keep in mind. And seeing as nobody talks about a rollercam LA engine that much, I'm doing the best I can to go through and tell you what parts are LA parts and what parts are Magnum parts. Now, unfortunately, considering I'm an idiot, I'm finding this out as I go along through experience. I don't have the knowledge right off the top of my head. I wasn't born with it, and I don't have anyone around anymore. They've all passed away to teach me about this, so I'm figuring this out as I go along. Now, one of the other reasons why this is going to the machine shop is there's just a little bit too much wear in these cylinders. Right up top, right up there, I can't take enough material off here at home to get rid of that ring ridge. Now, honestly, I could put new rings on these pistons. I could put this engine together. It is right at the very, very, very edge of the tolerances. So it would work. The problem is this would only be a maybe 50,000 mile engine instead of a 150,000 mile engine. The little ridge up here is not going to bother anything because the rings aren't going to come up that high and touch it. And the rest of it is fairly smooth. Yes, it is a tad bit out of round, but again, it's still within specs for just being a regular daily driver engine. It would work fine. It really would. But I don't want to pull this engine out again in 5 years and swap it. I've decided I'm going to build this engine the way I want it, the way I can, to the best of my ability. So I can just put this engine in the truck and then not bother with it again until I'm 90. The engine that's coming out of that truck, depending on what I do to this engine, I might have enough parts left over to actually rebuild that other engine without having to buy new parts. And that is, again, considering and hoping that whatever parts I don't use on this engine are made for this engine. Anyway, that's something I'll explain later, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to send this off to a machine shop, and we're gonna get it bored over, and we're gonna have new cam bearings put in. Although these ones are in real good shape, it would be fine without them. But since I'm having the work done, it don't cost that much extra to have these put in. I'm gonna have the machine shop do that, and to be honest with you, just because I don't feel like dealing with it, I'm going to have them put new core plugs in as well. And we'll get that all set up. Then when it gets back, I have to wait till it gets back because I don't know how far they're going to have to bore it out. And then we'll try and decide, like I said, if I'm going to do a stroker kit on it, or if I'm just gonna buy new pistons and put it together. Again, I would like your input. What would you like to see me do? Do you want to see an idiot like me try to put a stroker kit in this? Or do you want to just see me put it back together and see what happens? So anyway, yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm gonna try and get those, dig out these heads, and I'll show you the difference between the Magnum and the LA heads. Even the LA rollercam heads, they're the exact same as the regular LA. And what I was talking about, and I know I've pointed this out before, but this rollercam engine, just like all LAs, there's an oil passage here. And I'll show you on the heads where this oil goes and what it does. It actually, well, I'll show you right now. I got a head off right over here. What I got right here, this is a shaft style, and the oil comes up through that hole right there, and it oils these shafts. Now on this engine also, like I showed you earlier, the push rods and the lifters also have oil that come up through. On your normal LA engine, they don't. They're blocked off. But so this one oils both ways. But anyway, I'll let you go. I'll show you on the next video a little bit more in depth of what I'm talking about. Y'all take care.